can hear us now. Hello, everybody.
Oh shit.
Hello. Why am I? I'm pretty
Hello.
quiet. I'm pretty quiet. The hell?
I don't even have my thing in the right place.
I am. Is my voice in the right place? Yeah, I'm just checking mine right now. Test.
What up, gamers?
What am I doing?
Mike's still getting ready, everybody, so it's going to be a couple minutes. So
Yeah. I also have to put a shirt on at some point here.
he says, he claims, he doesn't have to. I wonder if you have to, according to YouTube rules.
Wednesday.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'd like to wear a shirt.
Fair enough.
That would be good content if you didn't have a shirt on.
Nah, you all think that. You can't handle how much hair I have on there.
Miss Scoozy.
Is that episode on... Like that episode on Seinfeld? When Sherry starts shaving his chest?
Mm-hmm.
That was an episode, yeah. Jerry's got nothing on me, to be clear.
It's gonna grow thicker.
Is that your Kramer?
Yeah.
It's very good.
My cable boy! I like my cable boy. I think about my cable boy every fucking day. What you do to my cable boy? I like Seinfeld.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I think I like Larry David, actually.
Yes, me too. That's how I feel about it.
I just got to the... I'm rewatching Grubb. I got to the episode of the house tour. I love that shit.
You got to the what?
To the episode of the house tour where Susie gets a new house.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Hey, want a house tour?" Laura's like, "No, I'm fine." "Oh, come on, I'll give you a house tour." "No, I get it." "You get it?" "Yeah, I get it. It's a new house."
There's a bathroom, a bed.
Yeah, it's a new house. It's nice. You know what, Larry? Get the fuck out of my house.
Oh man, that shows that there's a new season, right? Is it on yet?
Yeah, he started. Yeah, I'm watching both. I'm rewatching it and rewatching the new episode.
I'm very excited.
Like, come on.
You
know what?
Hey, Chad, how's it going?
Yeah, everyone. Sorry that I got my timing slightly wrong here.
That's all right. We'll be fine.
I am dumb.
Well,
I guess
I never said you weren't dumb.
Are you a himbo?
Yeah,
I
real
spent
himbo
most of my
energy.
week worrying about playing Metroid Dread, apparently.
That's fine.
Yeah,
I've been there.
There's a raging war going on Twitter with the times and shit.
I think
I see people like 2 hours 59 minutes.
That's me, to be clear.
That's Mike.
That's me. Yeah, I'm the best. Of all the Twitter people, of all the non-speedrunners, I think I'm winning right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like another category. It's like for speedrunning for normies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
This is
exactly.
I'm in the game journalist category. I'm winning. You can all hear me typing. Enjoy that.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for my new phone to get here.
Curve.
Oh, really? What'd you get?
Got the Pixel 6 Pro.
Nice.
Ooh, nice. I really like how that phone looks.
Yeah, I
With
do
the
too. And
camera
I'm like,
strip on the back.
yeah. And I'm just like, I've been kind of bouncing around between sort of, decent Android phones that like, they have good hardware, but their cameras are only okay. And the kids, all the pictures of the kids, their faces end up blurry because they're always moving. And this phone specifically does really well with that sort of thing.
They're not possessed?
Well, I'm not sure. But what can I do about
In fact,
it?
it would explain a lot of things.
Yeah, it would. I'm a heathen. I can't do anything about it. So, like, if they're possessed, they're just going to be possessed. I still need a camera that's going to do good with that.
Deftoon come crawling to his good Catholic friend, Mikey.
Mike, I need you to do an exorcism.
I used to be.
I don't know.
Oh,
I remember
man.
there was no talk of God at your wedding. That was pretty Satanist. I'll tell you what.
Wow.
There was There was talk of Carl Sagan, but not God.
Yeah, I want to talk about Carl Sagan and stars. I'm like,
That's a false god on my eyes.
And now I'm surprised that my kids are possessed by Satan.
Yeah, see?
It is funny how I live in such a small Catholic community that did stand out to me. Like, obviously, I didn't actually care, but I was like, wow, it's weird being at a non-Catholic ceremony.
Yeah. Hey, don't worry. You and my mom felt the same way.
Well, I feel like I probably had a nicer reaction to it than your mom, maybe.
I never been to a non-Catholic / like Christian wedding. Weird.
Yeah,
I've been to more since then, especially when I was growing up. Everything was, even if you weren't really, you kind of played along. These days, everyone's more comfortable with not having to play along.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my friends aren't like very religious, but they got like a Catholic wedding. Because that's what you do here, I guess.
There are more, there's certainly a lot more people who are like, we're not doing a whole like mass anymore. And I'm like, yes, that's fine by me.
I've only been to one Catholic wedding, and it was really nice. It was nice.
Yeah, they're nice. They could be long.
They're weddings.
Yes, long. Yeah.
Don't you? I watched The Greatest Showman again because I wanted to show a friend it. I thought that they would like it, and you know what? I like that movie.
Do you watch it drunk?
No. Look, you know me. I like musicals and
but
stuff.
I mean, I feel like that one you have to be a little bit slizzard to.
Look, I watched Cats dead sober and thought it was incredible. So
all right, then. I still haven't seen Cats. I'll have to do that for Christmas or something.
I tell you what. Yeah. I've seen Cats 4 times. People can judge me all they want.
I had to send back the LG TV that they lent to for reviews and stuff, and so I haven't like replaced it with another TV in that room. So now there's just a big like gaping hole on the wall where I'm like, I should put a TV there. I got to go buy one. And then if I do that, maybe the first thing I'll watch will be Cats.
There you go. Yes, that's how you break it in.
That's how you break in a new TV.
Oh man, there's a lot of responses that came in like the last like 5 minutes. So give me another bit here.
Yeah, no problem.
I know. Don't worry. The pre-show is just so we're so interesting.
Yeah, we're very
How
very
can
interesting.
anyone be mad?
Charismatic.
Yes. You ready for Halloween, Jeff?
I don't know if I'm ready.
I mean,
candy still.
Oh well, yeah, that's a big thing to do.
The kids have their costumes though. Emmy's going as a rainbow butterfly, and Addie is going as a lobster. So she loves
lobster
lobsters.
is very good.
Yes, she loves lobsters, and we were very excited about that, and it's very cute. So yeah, we're gonna. They have their school stuff this week, like where they're gonna dress up at school. So that's fun too.
Fun.
I'm gonna go to the parade on Thursday for Addie, and they're gonna come outside and parade around. They're like the circle out in the front of the rec center where she goes to preschool. I'll be like, hey, I don't know if she'll realize that I'm gonna be there. Yeah.
I remember I remember those. Those are fun.
Me too. I went as a Ghostbuster, Mario, and like a zombie with like that, like the peel off makeup on your face. Like those are the ones I remember.
I remember going as the genie from Aladdin, like the year Aladdin came out, and it was a big hit.
Yeah.
I remember when my AJ, my brother, was Sonic the one time. I remember that more because I thought that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't also be Sonic because, come on, you don't want to be a loser.
Yeah, Infernal Tim and Jeremy G. It was the CX. I was sending back the CX. They said they might send me a C1 to borrow in the same way to do a review of it and to like review content on that. We'll see. Maybe. I feel like I should want to just buy one because sending those things back is such a pain in the ass. I hate it.
I know.
Oh, the guy came and then like I had no idea he was coming, and I'm like, it's gonna take me like 10 minutes to get this ready. Like at the shortest. And he's like, well, I'll just come back. And then I got an email. They're like, that costs $400 every time we send someone out. I'm like, I didn't know he was coming out, and like this is not really this is on you guys.
Yeah, like I after I had that done to me, like I didn't know that they wanted the thing back, and it's like it's fine, but like I wish I knew. Like they didn't tell me till a year later. I was
Right.
like, this thing is kind of like I'm using it now. Like I guess I'll just buy it from you. Like okay, here's the receipt. Like all right, thanks.
Right. Yeah. That's why I considered doing that. But like, I'll just get the C1.
We lost you for a moment there. Okay, I got all the questions in. I just gotta go put a shirt on. I will be right back, and we can get started.
Yeah, there's a.
I'll put pants on too, I guess.
I mean, we don't see for you
Yeah.
from the waist down, so
That seems like waste.
might as well be comfortable, you know. Yeah, it's that time of year, I guess. The constant power outages.
Oh, really?
Because it's summer, you know.
Oh, because everyone's turning on the air and stuff. Oh,
Yeah.
gross. It's spring there, right? Like it's like spring,
It's
but it's like
spring.
already getting hot.
Yeah. Yesterday was 31 Celsius. So I don't know. It's not that hot, but it's slowly but surely. The problem is like one day it's super hot, one day it's kind of cold. So it fucks with my.
Mm-hmm.
You get easily to get a cold. I don't like that. If you're not ready, you gotta have like a blazer on. Like I don't know. Check out. Oh, what the hell? What are you doing?
Just gonna play a video game while we wait for Mike to push shirt.
Oh, is this Oh, I thought it was Raider Republic for a second.
It is Lonely Mountain Downhill.
Oh,
Should have on like several
video game.
platforms now. Uh-oh.
I'm watching the YouTube stream is on delay. I could be watching the.
Trying to remember if do I like. Hang on, do I like this control? It's like direct control.
That's weird. Looking, it's like a Crash Bandicoot. Oh no, you were going the wrong way. Like why you're running towards the screen?
What you playing there?
Lonely Mountain Downhill. It's like the game I play when I have like 2 minutes while a man puts on his shirt.
Fair enough. I'm gonna tell. We need a tweet still. I need a tweet still. I need to tell.
I need a tweet still.
Yeah.
Oh man, extra life's coming on pretty fast.
Yeah, we'll this week we got to talk about that.
I need to check. What's that? I need to check one of Rachel's stories real quick too.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, this week we got to figure out extra life like once and for all.
That's right.
Like pick a starting time, pick some like games, pick some stuff that like maybe people can participate in.
I need to ask you what because I don't stream as like you. I need to ask you like what I need here.
Yeah, well, yeah, you have a card, so
and internet.
Yeah, like you still have that capture card, right? So
yeah.
If you want to just do PC games, that's fine too.
I was about to say I might just do PC games, take it easier. We'll see. I mean, we'll figure out if there's something we really want to do that requires me to connect to that. We'll figure that out.
Okay.
Mario Party.
Yeah, maybe we should do Mario Party Superstars or something like that. But I don't know if we'll see. We'll see.
I'm sure we'll get code on that on Friday.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing where I could stream it and you could just be in the game and then just talking on Discord or something. And then when it's your turn, you could just do PC games. Okay. If you're clothed, turn on your camera when you are done helping Rachel.
I'll turn it on now so you can get ready.
And I will.
I'm almost done.
Let's tweet.
I think that looks pretty good. I think. That blurry background really helps a lot of people with their messy rooms.
Oh yeah,
they don't have to.
Yes, it helps me a lot. Yes.
Ooh, this is like an Inception smaller screen down there.
No, that sucks. How do I get rid of that? Why is that there?
I don't know. That didn't happen before.
No, I think it's just nothing. I'm just gonna
like...
crop it out. I'm just gonna crop it. Just crop it out.
Okay. I was wondering if you could do like a pop out.
Why do we have so many thumb downs today, Jeff?
Everybody, put your thumbs
I don't know.
down.
I haven't looked.
Who's review bombing us today?
It's probably that.
Have you done something to make people mad again? What'd you do?
Well, I mean, people are always mad, but there's. I did.
Pretty kind to us.
I banned the fake Jeff Grubb's Game Mess on multiple other like channels now because there's someone who pretends to be Jeff Grubb's Game Mess and has like a similar picture and stuff, and then goes on other people's channels and like pretends to be nice for a little bit, and then once they realize it's a fake one, then he comes out. And it's Xbot Killer is who it is.
Oh
it's
shit,
that
he's
guy.
back.
Yeah,
That guy.
yeah.
I thought we were pretty nice to him too.
Yeah, I mean,
he was our pet.
Wow.
But I think he probably shows up with like all his alt accounts and just does like thumbs down or something like that. I haven't seen how many thumbs down do we have.
You had an arch
21.
nemesis.
Wow.
Usually, to be clear, we usually only have like 3 or so. And hey, if you don't like the show, that's fine. But
The name of the
actually
show
don't
is
like
I
it.
just gave Nintendo $50 for Winback. Do you think we're getting the Winback fans? I think it's the Winback fans.
What'd you do? What's a win back?
That's one of the games on Nintendo 64 online, Mike. Come on, get with it.
That must be it. Yeah.
Winback.
All right. Let me tweet.
Maybe
Yeah,
they
Twitter.
were angry that we were talking about Larry David.
Yeah.
They don't like Larry David.
Right. There's a
don't
jihad
like
out on him.
Yet.
I don't get that people that's like, oh, I don't like Kirby. It's too cringy. That's the point. Sorry. I'm gonna keep talking about Larry David.
I don't blame you.
I apologize.
I think people were just really mad I put a shirt on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just really thought they're gonna see my tits.
That's on the OnlyFans game is.
They
Look
thought
it
they were
up.
seeing skin. Yeah, no, but we're actually doing it on Tuesdays now. That's the plan. This will be wrong. Oh, Jeff, this is the wrong overlay. Thank you, AJ, for just telling me.
Listen.
Oh yeah. Shut up.
Listen. Where would it be?
I'm glad
Nintendogs.
AJ knows.
Sure there is. There's sound. They didn't know what they were talking about. Maybe things are muted. Maybe they weren't. Come on, we got to gaslight our chat. That's how we get them to like us. We're gonna neg them. Yeah. No, I haven't actually. Is Mike? Yeah, Mike's muted. Mike's muted. Yes. I unmuted my camera instead. My bad. All right. Mario's nipples
Oh
make
my
me
God.
horny, man. I don't know why. All right. Okay.
good luck.
Anyways, how dare anybody give us a thumbs down?
Wait, do you have the music ready?
Listen. Nope. Wrong one. Shut up. Shut up.
Wow, Jeff, I can't believe you weren't ready to go today.
There we go.
All right. Okay. Are we ready? Should we do this?
Okay, I'm leaving. Good luck. I guess.
Thanks.
Bye.
Yeah,
Bye,
good. We're gonna need it.
Yes, apparently when I mentioned the dislikes, I got more pity likes, which I like. Oh, guys, it's so sad that like a few people review bombed us. It depresses me. If only other people would give us thumbs up.
Now you're making me really dislike you, actually. So never mind. This is gonna backfire.
No. Look at that. I see it. Oh yeah. I want to see some of those people turn around. Some of those guys who came in here to bomb us, they probably already left, but I want to win them over.
You want to win them over?
Be like, man, I know that like the plan was to like come in and like totally destroy these guys, but Mike Minotti's just too charming and sexy, and like I love that touch of gray that's coming in on his beard. And you know what? He likes the Rocketeer. I'm gonna thumbs up after all.
All right, Mike, I'm ready. You ready?
Mike's ready.
Could you hear the music when I was just playing it?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna do the countdown. I'm gonna hit the
Stream
record
Elements
button.
open.
I have Stream Elements open actually, yes, and I have the rundown next to that. Yeah. All right. Let's do this.
Got the
All right.
ritual. That was all good. All good.
Okay. 5, 4, 3.
Hey, you guys hear me? Start cheering now! Yeah, let's get this over with. Yeah.
Woof woof. Hi, I'm Mike Minotti, and I am a Nintendog.
Hello, I'm Jeff Grubb, and I am a Nintendog.
And we are the last of the Nintendogs. Today, the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack is out. I am better at Jeff in Metroid Dread, and we're going to talk about our favorite Metroid games. Jeff, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. I did give Nintendo $50 for Winback, and
Yes.
I'm not sure how I feel about that. But I'm just kind of get excited for Halloween. I haven't had enough time to like sit down and like watch like spooky movies. I don't really watch many scary movies, but I'll watch some like spooky Halloween stuff, and I really haven't had a lot of time for that. So I might take time this week, like the last minute sort of run up to Halloween, and do a little bit of that. Yeah, I guess you know what we do put on like the kids specials they have on like Disney Plus. My kids really like those Star Wars Lego ones. They really like the Christmas one. They're coming around on the Halloween one, but I like that. I wish they would be more into the Muppets Haunted Mansion, which I like really want to sit down and watch. But every time I put it on, they're like, "What is this bullshit?" I'm like, "Come on, guys, it's great.
Boo.
Come on." Yeah, I'm hoping they come around eventually.
Have you got them watching the Muppet Babies? Because that's like the gateway.
Yeah, I do, and they like it. They like it a little bit. They don't like it as much as I do. I think the new Muppet Babies show is fantastic. It's got really good songs and stuff like that. But maybe I'll put on like the Halloween one of that today and see if that can like be the gateway into watching.
Sounds like you need new kids. But anyways,
looking into it.
Hey,
We'll
you know how I pathetically pleaded with the people who gave us the thumbs down before we got started to change your mind? Look at that! Wow. Yeah, almost half of them have been won over.
Fantastic. Wow.
See, I told you I would just be that sexy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very good looking.
They're like, hey, look, okay, we were mad that you put on a shirt, Mike, but at least it's a flattering shirt. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, what's my best beach club resorts at Walt Disney World shirt that I have. So, yeah, they better appreciate that. Jeff, enough of your shenanigans. Get serious here. We have stuff to talk about. Are you ready?
I'm ready. What are we talking about?
Well, a little game that no one was looking forward to anyways called Advance Wars 1+2 got delayed to spring 2022. That was supposed to come out this year. So, Jeff, tell me about how happy you are about this delay.
I'm pretty bummed. The whole thing is everyone's like, listen, take the time you need. Just make the game as good as possible. And of course.
Sure. Well, sure. Yeah, it's always kind of pretentious when people say that. Like, I don't know. It's like, we know.
We
like, they're one step away from sharing that Shiggy quote.
Yeah, right. And no one's saying release the game even if it's bad. Like no one's right. Like I'm not saying that. I was looking forward to playing this game quite a bit, and I definitely hope when it does come out, it's great. They haven't given a new exact date, right? Like they just moved it to kind of like spring. So, what does Nintendo mean by spring? I think they probably mean like March or April or something like that, but we'll see. That's fine. I'll you know what I'm gonna do though in response to this is I was holding off on playing like Advance Wars games on my my Amber Nick because I'm like, okay, this new one's coming. It's a remake of 1 and 2, so I'll just wait for that. Now I might go back and play like one of the later ones, one of the DS ones instead, and just kind of enjoy that while I wait. So yeah, that's cool. I'll just do that, and that'll get me over this. But I think this is all just because of COVID. I think it's all because of the normal stuff. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's that. I think there's a little bit of just maybe scheduling too. I like if anybody looked at Nintendo's holiday lineup like kind of a cold analytical head, they'd probably say, we're already set here. If there's one game that maybe we could use later to pad the schedule out, it's probably going to be this. I mean, we already have Mario Party coming out this week, and then we have Pokemon next month. And I feel like there's even something else I'm forgetting about, but maybe not. That's gonna put them in a pretty good place, especially with Metroid Dread seemingly being the kind of success it is, and seemingly kind of holding onto that position as like the main holiday game pretty well. I can understand if this was like, not, I don't think that's the main reason why, but I bet it made the decision pretty easy. Like the moment that maybe the team asked for more time, Nintendo was like, yeah, sure, here, have 6 months, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm very distracted because Wario64 just tweeted a 15% off game and Grubb gift card, and he spelled Grubb like my last name instead of like with one B. And I'm like, okay, I see how it is.
You just like seeing your own name. My younger brother Chris just he was playing Hollow Knight, and he got like an in-game achievement called Grubb Friend, and he messaged you about it. He's very excited.
Yeah, it's what was that? The Dale Carnegie, like nothing sounds so sweet to a person as their own name. But yeah, I think this is for the best. You're right. I'm fine on Nintendo games right now. There's the Mario Party's coming out. I think I might actually get into this one. I might give it a shot with like my kids and see how friendly it is to a 4-year-old or whatever. But even then, it's like it's online. We'll be doing Extra Life. Maybe that'll be a good excuse to like get that and like do at least one online match with some friends for something like that. So in terms of like what's coming to the Switch right now, I'm happy. There's plenty of stuff. I am going back and playing Hollow Knight, and I do see myself actually probably getting into that. And that's I'm understanding it's a pretty beefy long game. So if
it's a big game.
Yeah, so if there's not something else distracting me there, that's a good thing. And then honestly, in December, hopefully my Steam Deck will show up, and then I'll just emulate everything I want to play. I'll be fine.
Mine's definitely not coming in December. But
yeah, I'm hoping that we get a couple review units. I think we might be able to talk Valve into that. But even then, I have one, and they said it's like Q1, and I'm hoping that's like sort of Q1 or December-ish. Probably not though. I'm just hopeful. But either way, it's like there's plenty of other gaming stuff to keep me busy. I want Way Forward to take their time and do a good job with this, of course, and we'll see.
Don't you? I don't know why I mess around with my keyboard. That must be delightful. Don't you need to spend time beating my Metroid Dread time?
I do. I would very much like to do that, but I am. This is the kind of thing that I do get obsessive about, right? Where
yes.
It's like this is the stuff like people care about achievements and trophies and all that stuff, Mike, and I just don't. I don't care. That stuff does not flip any of my switches in any way. It's the speed running, the competition, leaderboard stuff that I care about that keeps me coming back and keeps me engaged with the game. And the problem is you're like you said this on Twitter, like you have an advantage because there's a much bigger time commitment here than there was in Astro.
This isn't a 2-minute Astrobot level.
Exactly right, and that's what like the Astro level. So I'm like, that was my entire world because I could do those 2-minute levels for hours and hours, and it's like counterintuitive, right? It's like why not just one run? It's like it's not the same thing. You feel like you're accomplishing something each time. You can like make small changes, and you feel like you're progressing. Here, it's like, if I were to go play it right now and I were to do a hard mode run and get a really good time of 3 hours and 15 minutes, that's like, man, that was a long time to still lose to Mike. And so like, if I get into that spiral, it's like, oh man, that's going to be a lot of commitment. And I'm like playing other games right now. I'm trying to finish Guardians of the Galaxy. I got NHL 22, which is actually pretty good this year. And I'm like, I don't want to like only play Metroid Dread for the rest of the year. Although I do want to play it at least one more time, so I'll probably give it one more attempt, and then we'll see if I do go down that spiral. You've been playing. You want to wait to talk about that, or do you want to like talk about like your speed running right now, or what?
No, we can talk about how cool I am. That's fine.
Figured you wouldn't want to wait.
No, not at all.
Yeah, you've been playing that game a lot, and you've gotten very fast.
I got pretty fast for not doing any like the fancier tricks. Like the only trick I'm doing is early grapple beam, which is one of the intended tricks,
right?
In terms of like the sequence breaking, but it doesn't like skip any major bosses or like whole sections of the game. So the actual speedrunners, I think the record's around like 1 hour 23 real time minutes. I think like the game tells you it's 1 hour and 38 minutes.
Sure.
And I'm not doing it in one sitting, but I my best now. And I had to do it on hard mode because you don't do it on hard mode. There's always somebody who says something. Is at 2 hours, 59 minutes, and 10 seconds. I wanted to get under 3 hours, and I was getting nervous because I knew it was going to be close.
Was really close. That had to be.
It was.
That would have sucked if it was like 3 hours and 5 seconds or something like that. I guess what like you're shaving down a lot of time each time. What is like what are you shaving out? Is it just like optimizing routes basically?
It's basically just like at this. That's the fun thing about Metroidvanias, and Dread's good at it, right? Like each time, it's like, man, I like know this game now. I know the path. I don't have to just stop and look at the map. There's just little places where I know I can do the phase shift here pretty safely. So the last time before this one, I like kind of went down a path. I basically like went the way I needed to go to get the the grapple beam the intended way by accident instead of just going to the next part without doing that, because my mind like, oh, I have to go over here now. I didn't need to go over there at all. I could have just skipped that. So small things like that, really, and just getting really good at the bosses so that I can do all of those in one try now, which is very fun, right? Like, especially like that final boss, some of the other ones, it's like, oh, like the first time, like, yeah, this is something that took me 10 tries to figure out. And now that you know the boss, it's just like, yeah, I can go in there and kill in one shot. And it's still like, it's not easy, and it's still tense and exciting, but it feels really good to have this level.
Yeah, you should have all the skill
mastery.
Like, at this point. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's how it was for me in my first time on hard mode with that final boss. I'm like, oh, I beat this on the first try. That's awesome. I just used the same skills, and that was very, very effective. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm not usually that kind of a player. I'm not usually someone who beats a game again after I beat it, like to try hard mode or to do this, or even with the Metroid games. Honestly, I've never tried to get like a fast time in Super Metroid or Metroid Dread as much as I love them, but I just really wanted to keep playing Metroid Dread. And you made a throwaway comment at some point about how you would beat me in a race, and you said like, oh, I would destroy him. So of course I couldn't let that stand. No, apparently not. so that was like, I'll show him. Plus, you get like the concept art, right? Like you unlock one of those for beating each one under 4 hours. So that was like a big thing I wanted to do. I wanted to beat both hard mode and normal mode under 4 hours. So the art you get for Super Metroid when you beat it in under 4 hours on normal mode is incredible. That is super good. If there's only one you want to unlock, that should be it. I mean, you're unlocking a JPEG.
Right.
I hear people sell JPEGs for money these days.
Yeah,
you call it an NFT. So
yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, Metroid NFTs would be a thing. Absolutely. But Mike, the real reason I don't have enough time to play Metroid Dread is because I'm just so busy with Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack and all its great games, which I totally bought last night.
Yeah, I bought it immediately after now granted, in my talk of saying how I didn't really need it at all, and maybe this time I wouldn't get it, I admitted that of course I probably will just end up getting it. Right. And as soon as it was out, it was like, I have to have this, I have to see what it's like. I need what I can't not have it because I'm an awful person and I deserve your ridicule and derision. Yep. But yes, I have it. It came out. Jeff, do you have any early thoughts on the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack?
Yeah, it's kind of bad, I think. It's kind of bad. Like, the games are okay. I would enjoy them more online if Nintendo's online was better, but it's always kind of laggy. The button mapping is broken. Like Star Fox. I was playing Star Fox, and to lean to the left, you hit the left trigger. To lean to the right, you hit the right bumper. And it's not interchangeable with like the bumpers and the triggers. It's just one is different than the other, and that feels so awful. It's just so bad. And then I was trying to they're like use the C button to like do this thing, and it's I think it's mapped to the stick, I think, and I'm like, but I don't know. It's like it doesn't make it very clear like how you're actually supposed to do the C buttons, which like normally I like when I'm emulating, all that stuff just goes right on the stick because it's like a C stick on a GameCube. Right. They're kind of doing that equivalent. But I'm like, it just didn't seem like it was working. It was weird, and I was kind of getting frustrated in a lot of games. That said, I think I could probably get over the hump with most of these things and be just fine. And it's cool to have Ocarina of Time on the Switch. Just you could play it anytime, whatever. That's cool. But mostly, I just kind of feel like this is not great. Like if it would have had but probably like twice the games and had like some key ones like Wave Race and 1080 and a few others, that would really help. And I know we're going to get more here soon, but we're going to get Banjo-Kazooie, and that'll be very good. And that'll help. But right now, I'm just kind of like bummed out by it. I'm like, I paid my $50. They got my money. I think they knew they would, and it doesn't really matter right now if I'm happy. It's just going to matter if by next year when it's time to renew, if they've done enough to change it and prove it. And I'm sure they'll add like a couple things that'll make me say, I'll just keep giving them $50. But for right now, I'm like, I think most people should skip this.
My superpower usually is that I can adapt to whatever control scheme like a game gives me. I'm not one of those people who gets upset if the jump button's at A or it's at B. The game tells me that's where the jump button is. I can usually get used to it. Yeah. But what you're saying about Star Fox sounds annoying. For Metroid Dread, I actually went into the Switch for the first time and did the system-wide button remapping. I thought the Switch
had that, and I wonder if you could do that with these games and kind of it would carry over. But yeah, tell me about Dread. with what you did
Well,
there.
there's so many. I complained about this with Switch before. Again, I'm usually somebody who's like, will get with whatever. There's so many Nintendo games that treat the bumpers like the primary shoulder buttons instead of the triggers.
Right.
And in Dread, it just drove me crazy the first time it wanted me to use RB for the missiles. It just felt really bad. I was like, that needs to be on a trigger right now. So I basically just switched. I have like, you can save a preset, and I have a preset save that just makes the bumpers the triggers and the triggers the bumpers. So I wonder if you can go in and just at least, it's silly you have to do it system wide and the games just can't have their own remapping, but maybe you could go in there and
probably have to do
swap those two around.
Yeah, that would probably be effective, because I bet that every game just treats that right bumper as the Z trigger or something. Maybe it's the left bumper they treat.
Yeah, I don't think they do special mapping for each game. I think it's just
I'll just swap it out and have it be my N64 preset. Okay, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so give that a go. What about, so I only just played a little bit of Mario 64 just to see, like, I got the first star. And the only thing that stood out to me is, like, I thought the border was a little annoying. I wish I could just, like, make it black after a while. Like, I get it. I could push the start button and I could push the select button to bring up the suspend menu. Again, maybe I was missing something there. I see some people complaining about the actual emulation. I haven't played enough to get any, like, much of a sense of that. I don't know if you have any thoughts there.
I mean, I saw some of the screenshots that are going around of, the reflections in the water temple and Ocarina of Time are broken. And I mean, to me, that's just emulation. That happens a lot. I mean, if, there's better emulation than others, and they, it'd be nice if this was the best possible emulation of these games and it was all perfect. But for me, I'm at a point where, as long as most of the game is intact and it feels fine, and it runs at the right speed, that's the stuff I care about. It's like, as long as it runs at the right speed and the music's not distorted and stuff like that, and for the most part that seems to be the case, it's fine. I'll be okay. And then if I get like to one texture and it's broken, I'll be like, oh, I guess that bothers me a little bit, but I'll get over it so fast that I'm not going to carry that like all the way through and be like, oh, this experience is ruined now. Hang on, I got to go bring a kid over here. I'll be right back.
All right, Jesse, you said I can hide those buttons on the UI. You must tell me how, because yes, they do in fact bother me. I need your help. I need it. Ocarina of Time is interesting though, because like, I'd like to play Ocarina of Time, but I probably would just play the 3DS version. I mean, it runs better. It got a graphical update. It had some quality of life changes, and I still have that. Jeff, do you agree with that? Would you, if you really wanted to play Ocarina of Time through again, would you just play the 3DS version, or is it so important to play it on your Switch?
The 3DS version. I'm playing the 3DS version. That's the one I started a couple weeks ago. That's the one I would play. Well, it's an improved version. It's a better version of the game. So yeah, absolutely.
Did you try anything with the Genesis? Because like I was just looking at the two, and I was like, man, like obviously, like they have Ocarina of Time and Mario 64 here, and those are giant heavy hitters of our industry. But again, with Ocarina of Time, I'd rather play the 3DS version, and Mario 64 is already on Switch. So I was like, I think the Genesis library here is like I almost said objectively better. You can't say that word; people get upset. But I thought it seemed clearly better to me. Again, a lot of those games are also already available on Switch, so maybe my Mario 64 already being on Switch thing doesn't really count for much. But man, like I forgot how many games they brought on there from day one. You got Sonic 2, you have Rise Star, Shinobi 3, Streets of Rage 2, Phantasy Star 4. Like they got a lot of the big ones immediately on, like Castlevania Bloodlines, Contra Hardcore,
and so, like. There's a lot of ways to play those games online and stuff. I think if there's not native online in the Sega Genesis games on Steam, they have that couch co-op, that virtual couch co-op thing you can do on Steam. But like being able to play Streets of Rage 2 online with a friend is exciting. That's a cool way to like that game should exist now with robust online. And this is not robust, but at least it's like it's capable, and that's cool. I would play that game once a year with a friend or whatever. So yeah, that's neat. I'm glad that so many of these games just come out and support this multiplayer right away. It's all just kind of built in at a system level. It's not like game by game. So I like that a lot. And yeah, the emulation's pretty solid. So I'm happy with the Genesis stuff. It's just not, it's still not moving me like I wish it would with or how it would if we were to get Saturn games or something like that.
Sure.
I expect us to still get something like that eventually, but for right now, whatever. I paid my money. I kind of it's sunk cost. I should just get over it and enjoy what I have, and I will. I'll play many of those Genesis games.
Right. Yeah. That's my thing. Is like like I said, I was like, what am I actually gonna play when I get this? And I'm looking at it, it's like I guess I'm gonna play Rise Star, which I've had on my Switch since 2018 because it's on that Genesis collection.
Yep.
Which is like, aside from being a great collection in terms of what games it has, it's also fun in its presentation. It has that
Yeah.
whole like you're in like a 90s bedroom thing going
Yes.
on and all that stuff. So
That's a game you could play in VR, and you go in that bedroom and you have the CRT in front of you and stuff. That's a cool experience too. I like that game a lot.
yeah, so I hope they add new games to this soon. I hope it's not like a painfully slow drip. Like, when are we going to get games added? Is it really going to be like the end of November again?
I mean, probably it's probably going to be like, yeah, probably not the holidays, but like before the holidays. So I would expect the end of November when we get those N64 games. So yeah, well, it's Banjo-Kazooie. What else are they adding? Nintendo Switch
I forget.
Online.
Probably
expansion
Mario
pack.
Golf. If we already got tennis, I assume that's still coming, right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
But I don't think they. I forget. I don't think they said Majora's Mask yet. But at some
You know what?
point,
Just put Banjo-Kazooie in there. That'll probably bring me the right.
is this really worth looking up right now, Jeff?
No, you could keep going on with the show. I'll do it for my own, satisfaction.
Oh, I'm glad that you're finding a way to satisfy yourself. While we have important things to do, like talk about Tetris 99's Metroid Dread crossover event that is happening this weekend. Jeff, I haven't played Metroid 99, that'd be a dream. I haven't played Tetris 99 in a long time, but I think I might boot it up again for this. Majora's Mask is confirmed, apparently. Okay, so Jesse already has this for us. Paper Mario, Pokemon Snap, Majora's Mask, F-Zero X are still coming.
Yeah, that's and Paper Mario is a good one, and Banjo-Kazooie, and honestly, all of those are great. So I feel like if that was like from day one, I'd feel slightly better about this. But
Sure.
once they get there, it'll be a reason to check it out again, and it'll be fine.
More too.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll play some Tetris 99 for this. This is exciting.
Yeah. Maybe I'll finally win one. I'll get good. I think I'm good enough to get Tetrises, which is, as long as you can kind of do that, I feel like at some point luck is going to get you through to the end. Although at this point, like the people who are playing Tetris 99
Right.
a lot, God knows how good they
And
are
this
now.
is not like some kid is really good at this game and their reflexes are better than mine. This is a 50-year-old mother who has been playing nothing but Tetris her entire life.
Oh no!
Like so yeah, and like it's the only video game she ever plays, and that's what she's still playing now. It's just Tetris 99. So yeah, like they're tough to beat. I've won once, and it was really hard, and it required a lot of like. All I'm playing right now is Tetris, and I'm putting my mind in such a place where I am thinking far ahead. My hands are doing one thing with the current piece, and my brain is focused on that next piece and figure out what I'm going to do with it before it even comes. And if you're not there, if that's not where you're at, like you won't win. So you kind of have to like practice to get to that point. And it's really satisfying when you do, but it's not something that I can like jump back into and win. But you can still have a pretty good time. It's still Tetris. It's still fun. And apparently for this, like, I guess if you are going to try this, Mike, a tip is Tetrises are not quite as important in this game as combos. So like you want to like do, one line and then another line and then try to get two lines. And that's like way more powerful in terms of attacking your opponents. So at least apparently that's what I remember. So that seemed to work.
Okay. I need to play more Tetris Effect too, now that I've beaten Dread 4 times. Yeah.
So good.
All right, so yeah, that's something we can probably try this weekend. So Grand Theft Auto Trilogy's physical edition on Switch is apparently going to require a download. Jeff, what do you think about that?
It's kind of what I was expecting. It's a 25 gigabyte download from the eShop, I believe, and then I was expecting it to go on a 32 gigabyte card from Nintendo, because I think Nintendo's actually distributing the physical version of this game, but it seems more like they're just going to put it on a 16 gigabyte card and maybe give you one of those games, and then you have to download the other two or something like that, which is pretty common for something like this, especially on the Switch.
Right, we've seen it on other things. I can't remember exactly now, but I know that there have been things like this. So
yeah, and to me, like, that's fine because I buy all my games digitally anyhow. I'll be fine. For people who are like thinking I'm gonna get the GTA trilogy on the Switch, the physical edition, to have in my collection and be sure that whenever I put that card in, I have all those games ready to go. That's got to be a little disappointing for sure, but it's also just where we're at with this stuff. The these Nintendo cards, they can get really expensive as you get to 32 gigabytes, and especially 64 gigabytes. And these companies avoid that at all costs. It's just not worth it to them. So yeah,
At least they aren't just making cloud versions, right?
right. Yeah, and that's, I mean, this is the trade-off
That's
I
the
will happily take to not get cloud versions. Yeah, 100%. That's a good point.
I was shocked by how good these remasters look, and
Me
then I was
too.
equally shocked to see a lot of people. Not maybe it's not a lot of people. It's so hard to
Yeah,
tell
you're
on
right.
the internet. You're like, wow, this looks bad. But
The thing I hate is people saying they Fortnite-ified it, and I'm like, guys, this is just what those games looked like. They were just lower res, and like they're not even like changing the number of polygons in these characters. They're just upgrading the textures slightly, and it's definitely fulfilling the original vision. They always had that cartoon style to them. You're just, I don't know. I think it might just be stupid. I think for saying
I think they might be. Yeah, I think they just. I don't know. Like there are a lot of people I was shocked who does like. I understand the lines that blurred between the terms remaster and remake, but there are apparently still a lot of people who had this expectation of the game suddenly looking like Grand Theft Auto 5 now.
Yes, I mean, I guess some people were like, oh, there have been a ton of mods that have made the game look like close to GTA 4, GTA 5, and that's what we were expecting. And I'm just like, that. I get that. You'll probably be able to mod these games on PC and still get that if that's what you really care about. But that was never what they were going to go for, and I think it's the right choice.
Yeah, well, as someone who likes the way old games look sometimes, I really like how they, made it look like it runs well. Yeah, I think it looks great. I'm really into it. I'm like actually pretty excited for this collection now.
Me too.
All right. Here's a fun little thing here. So Clark Wen is the audio director of Metroid Prime and Metroid Prime 2. And in a recent interview, he noted that Nintendo rejected Samus's voice acting in Metroid Prime for being, quote, too sexual and sensual, end quote.
Did she
Jeff,
sound like a tennis player? Like,
I don't know. Well, I'm glad that Nintendo protected us. So
yes,
that,
for real. The last thing in this world I need is to be horny while playing Metroid Prime. So thank you, Nintendo.
Oh, that's already happening.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, you see that reflection in the visor. You can't
like,
control yourself.
eyes.
It's a lady. Yeah, like human. She's looking at me. Oh my god. Jesus. I think that's something Nintendo would not do today. I think they've changed enough to that they would not.
They publish Bayonetta now.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It's like, and she sounds sensual, looks even more so.
She says fuck.
Yeah. And she means it in the way she says it.
Yes.
This is weird, but whatever. That was Nintendo 100%. I mean, that was still early 2000s. They're still coming off of like, oh, in the 90s, we're the ones that aren't being like Sega and being perverts. Right. And like, that's very much our position is we're not the perverts.
Yeah.
Now
these are the two that made Pyra and Mithra and Xenoblade Chronicles too.
Right.
Yeah, come on.
And let's whatever on the eShop. Like, they don't care like how much it's about panties. Like, they'll like, yeah, go put it on the eShop. We don't, whatever. The more panties, the better.
But that's the next Nintendo franchise, all about panties.
all about panties. Yep. And again, I don't care. I don't personally need Nintendo to protect me, but I'm just not surprised that was their position back when Metroid Prime and Prime 2 were coming out.
I sure would like to hear those audio files. That would be interesting if they could ever dig those up. Hear what that sounds like.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. All right, Jeff, that's it for the news here. We got some questions from our community, and I see we got some super chats in also. So let's do questions, and then we'll talk about our favorite Metroid game. So you ready for this?
Yeah, I am. You want me to start with the super chats, or you want to do the questions first?
You can do some super chats. Let's get through the ones that aren't related to Metroid.
I'm excited to do that. Let's see. J Stud McLovin. Boo! Can you give your elevator pitch for a new license? Oh. Boo!
He scared us.
Yeah. I thought he was booing us, that's just
fair.
I'm so
People
used to that.
do.
Right, exactly. That's I just assumed. Boo! Can you give your elevator pitch for a new licensed horror spooky movie themed game? I'd love a Nightmare Before Xmas themed town builder. Well, that's interesting. That's a good thought.
Yeah, that's pretty good, huh?
Yeah. I think like I mean, just kind of sticking with that theme, like Witch Simulator 2021 would be cool, where like you are like running your own like apothecary or something and brewing up potions and stuff like that. I think there's like some games that are similar to that, but like I want to just play as a witch and like going out the woods and finding mushrooms and stuff. And basically I want to be the witch from Link's Awakening and make an entire game based on that. And then like you take your stuff and I guess you would maybe sell it to those shops in town or something like that. That could be cool.
I want a game where you play as a black cat and you have to run away from kids who are trying to kill you on Halloween because they're cruel.
That's horrifying, but also, that being as long as you're the cat, that's great.
You win.
Yeah, you win, right? Exactly. Yes. And then at the end, you come back and you do kill those kids. Like,
you murder them viciously.
Viciously. I like it. Let's see. I'm gonna try to get this right. Deperic Kid. Nintendogs and Spawncast collab win. I've been on Spawncast a bunch of times now. I'm like their sixth man that comes off the bench when they need me. I want Mike Minotti to go on Spawncast, which is like one of the bigger YouTube podcasts for about video games. They get like 3,000 viewers at least each weekend. So Mike Minotti should go on there. I'll talk to John about that. See about.
It's finally time to expose me to the masses.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Shirtless this time for sure.
I'll save one of my last normal Coke Zeros. I'm getting close to the end of this. Like,
a few
of
these
mini ones. Yeah. No.
Are you going to Are you going to save the last one for good, or are you going to drink it? No. Okay.
That'll give me too much anxiety. I'll maybe save the bottle. Nah, it's even weird. It's garbage. No, I'll just throw it away.
Right. Yeah, I remember when we were young and I had an apartment with a bunch of guys. They would just save the the empty liquor bottles in the window, and I'm like, guys, that's just trash. We are not sentimentally attached to any of this. Why are you doing this? Literally
mentioned in Weird Al's song "Tacky" as a thing that tacky people do.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. I was like, this is not me, guys. Please stop this. All right, Jeremy G. How much game and Grubb could Jeff Grubb game and Grubb if Jeff Grubb could game and Grubb? Yeah, I don't a lot because I could game and Grubb a lot. But yeah, it's go to Warrior 64's Twitter account and go save some money on game and Grubb, and then I accept those coupons. Just to let you know. And then from Casual. I've signed up for a yoga class and thusly will miss tomorrow's Grubb snacks. So I'll ask it here. Could Mike please sit in on an episode? Love you guys. Yeah, I'll try to get Mike in on a Grubb snacks. I'll bring him in for a Grubb snacks at some point. That'll be fun.
I'll do that for money.
Yeah, I'll be like, hey, you guys have to pay this guy. I'm doing Grubb snacks tomorrow, everybody. Just to let everybody know. Not on Thursday because I'm going to be going to my kids' preschool for her Halloween parade on Thursday. So doing an early Grubb snacks on Wednesday instead.
There was they had a survey over there in Giant Bomb, like, what shows do you like? And I like Grubb snacks.
Yeah, go fill that out. I think it's on their Twitter account, but maybe I can put the link in the chat at some point. Go fill that out. And if you are so moved, say you like Grubb snacks, that would help me out. Say whatever you like. You like all the new shows. They're all great.
No, only like Jeff's. It'll help boost him. It doesn't work if you raise all ships. Raise all ships.
Right. Someone has to fail for Jeff to succeed. Yeah. Mike, that does it for the super chats for now. And of course, if you guys want to send anything else in, feel free to do so. The questions that Mike is about to read, we take those from the Discord, the podcast producers. You can get in that by joining the Patreon. Go to patreon.com/GameMess. And you can ask your questions in the Discord if you prefer to do that. But yeah, any more super chats come in, we'll get to them as they come in.
All right, here's our questions. First one here's from Wildfire Alex. Is Jeff okay after the Advance Ward delay? Does he need us to send him anything? I'm very worried about him. Oh, Jeff will be fine. He has a million games he can play. I have a million games I can play. I will say that I was looking for like Advance Wars apparel. Like I'm wearing my Advance Wars shirt right now, and I'm like looking for more. And I'm like, I want like more stylized. You know, the thing that is that is trendy in apparel right now, the branded apparel, is like, it's not like a shirt that says Harry Potter. It's a shirt that like has Diagon Alley or something like that. It's like in-world fiction sort of clothing. It's much better. Yeah, it's much better, right? And I know it's trendy, but I prefer it too. It's trendy for a reason. And I'm like looking for that sort of thing from Advance Wars, but you have to get that from questionable sources, because Nintendo's not exactly going deep on its Advance Wars apparel. So yeah, let me know if anybody spots anything. Apparel in general, really. They just kind of like slap some stuff on their shirts, and that's that. And they will just be like, here's a Mario logo and a picture of Mario. Yes, exactly. There's a Mario shirt. It's not very interesting or exciting. Nope. Nick Turbo asks, whatever happened to the Cuphead DLC? Will Dean review it when it comes out?
Well, that won't happen. Like, he will not review it. He'll play it and maybe talk about it or something. But either me or Mike would review it. And
You think there's any chance that this is just Cuphead 2 now, or
I feel
is
like
it
there's
still just
an increasing chance. Yeah.
yeah?
They should definitely release it as a standalone, right? Like, even if it is kind of an expandalone sort of thing, it should be its own thing, so that people don't feel the need to go and play the original game. But I guess it depends on how it works. I don't know. I mean, maybe if it's like new like bosses on the same backgrounds or something, I guess they wouldn't do that. The sense I get is making that game is a lot of work, and they want to get it right. And so you combine that with any sort of COVID issues, it's gonna take a little bit extra time.
I mean, don't forget the original Cuphead got delayed a ton before it actually came out.
Right. To me, yeah, this just feels like the same thing.
Mhm. Nick Turbo also asks, do you think Shin Megami Tensei 5 will be the best-selling SMT game?
Yes, easily.
Yeah, I mean, of course, we're not counting Persona.
Oh yeah.
I guess, it should. I don't think it's going to like blow anybody away. Like, I don't think it's going to outsell what Fire Emblem did there, or even what Xenoblade Chronicles 2 did there, really. I think there's still a bit of a nicheness there when it comes to SMT. And I mean, SMT 4 was on the 3DS, and that also had a lot of people on there. Again, Switch, there's just another factor there where things do so better. So yeah, probably, especially in the West, but probably in Japan too.
Mm-hmm.
That is coming out soon too. That's another one that I knew I was forgetting something else. And yeah, Shin Megami Tensei 5 is also coming to the Switch this fall. So they're pretty stacked already. I don't blame them for being okay delaying another game.
Yes, for sure. If any game needed time, just give it time, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm. Another one here on a fall game. Anderson64 says, "What are some of your favorite Mario Party mini games?"
I haven't played a ton of Mario Party in my life, so nothing like I don't have like a list of favorites that come right to mind. I guess I like that GIF where Luigi wins because he sits still while everyone else on the ball is like trying to stay on the platform, and they all just fall off. So I like that.
I like all the ones that are more platforming based, like that. More so than the ones that are these, like the spin the stick based ones, or maybe some of the timing based ones. But I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like, there's that weird one you play basketball. It's kind of fun. Like those simple one where the one you're talking about. You're all on those like balls. You're trying to knock each other off. Bumper balls. It's simple. It works. That's pretty good to me. I feel like if I like look through, I'd probably have a more exciting answer. But that's what comes to mind right now. Delta Prime 84 asks, have you guys gotten a chance to try the Nintendo 64 Switch controller yet? Not sure about America, but they have been on sale in Straya for a week or two. So hopefully some people have them by now. We don't have one yet. I know you don't have one yet, Jeff. I saw some were just on sale again earlier today. I think my brother managed to get one, but I don't know if Nintendo is sending me one this time. So we have no thoughts on that yet.
Right. I'm going to try to buy one if they put I think they said they're going to put it up for sale again before the end of this month. Maybe they already did it. But I will try to pre-order because I really want one for multiple reasons. To play these games, I think it'd be great to actually play these games with the N64 controller and not have to worry about remapping, which we found out is an option. But also, like, I would like that to play with the games on my PC and use it as a Bluetooth controller on my PC, or just connect it with USB or whatever, and have it be like an official Nintendo product. I've had N64 USB ones before, but they're definitely like bootleg ones that didn't feel great. So I hope this one feels good, and I'm gonna get it and I'll find out.
Giggy asks, is parrying in Metroid Dread a QuickTime event? I've heard so many takes where people are saying it is a QTE during boss fights, but if it is a QTE, why isn't the button prop displayed on the screen? And why is it consistently the same button and not a random one? Is it just because there are a couple of moments where failing it results in instant game over? I thought QTEs were just to make cutscenes more engaging by adding a bit of randomness to something non-interactive. I know this isn't Games Beat the Sides, but tell me what you think. Oh, I mean, this is Nintendo related. No, that's countering. Yeah, that's a different thing.
Yeah,
that's like, I know it gets pretty cinematic sometimes.
Right. It goes into something that might have like, I guess, QT like sort of elements, but even then, like, those cinematics aren't QTEs because you're just holding down, you're just continuing to fire missiles in the same way you were firing missiles before. It's just the camera spinning around you. Yeah, it's just normal gameplay countering stuff. So yeah, not a QTE.
No, it's more like Batman Arkham Asylum combat than it is like the God of War QTEs or whatever it
Right.
is.
You
So.
know, the Emmy, the Hail Mary where you get caught by an Emmy and you have a chance to counter that is maybe even a little bit closer to a QTE. But yeah, the standard like countering a boss when they flash white, that's just like so many games right now, just a regular parry system.
Mhm. Matt OK asks, will we get a Mario Kart 9 this generation? I don't think so. I think that's
I
gonna
go
be.
back and forth on it. I don't know.
I
Someone
mean,
said
at
that
this
the
point,
Nintendo 64 controller is back in stock right now, so I'm gonna try to get it.
all right, go ahead, Jeff. Try to get it. I feel like at this point, especially if we're not getting a Switch Pro, a lot of expect like a Switch 2 in maybe 2 to 3 years. So I don't think we're going to get a Mario Kart 9 before then. That'll be the time they'll do it. All right, Don Cabessa asks, what is this platform deal that Shape Show Nick alluded to? I think I don't know, that can't be right, but something Nick alluded to earlier in the year. Did he tell his ex-boyfriend, now boyfriend Jeff, exactly what it
Special
entails?
Nick.
Special Nick. Okay. Oh, is that how that's spelled? Special Nick.
That's how he spells it. Yeah.
Well,
What
he's
is the platform?
confusing me, so he should change it.
He never told me. I'm not sure if he knows the exact details. Maybe he does, but he never mentioned them to me. And my guess was always going to be like, very very light sort of agreements, like Banjo Kazooie coming to Nintendo Switch Online. Like that's definitely a platform. I know Nick said that's not what he meant, but I think beyond, like, there are obviously having talks that like lead to something like Banjo Kazooie being able to come to Nintendo Switch Online, and I think that the other side of that might be Nintendo moving to Azure in terms for its cloud infrastructure. That's what I think it is, but even that I'm not positive about.
Okay. Crimson 13 asks, does Nintendo have a budget or resource problem? On paper, they do not because they're Nintendo, but in execution, they seem to be very minimal on things. Switch Online Nintendo 64 titles not looking too good or stuttering. Rumors of just Metroid Prime 1 being remastered. Others might not even release. Confusion on Twilight Princess / Wind Waker HD. No action whatsoever on the Virtual Console concept / store as far as selling old games as legit ports. I don't want to say they half-ass things on Ruway, but a lot of times they don't go all out.
I mean, I think some of these are just strategic differences between what you think they should do and what Nintendo thinks they should do. So, Twilight Princess HD and Wind Waker HD coming to the Switch, well, they already made those games, and then they didn't half-ass them. Those are good remasters, and they'll come to the Switch when Nintendo spots a hole in its schedule for releasing Zelda games, probably sometime later next year. And Virtual Console, they're not going to do a Virtual Console because a lot of those games just didn't sell and it wasn't worth the effort. So they're doing this Nintendo Switch Online thing instead, and maybe that's not good, but it's not like just because they're doing this and not Virtual Console. They're not doing this because they because they're like, this is the amount of resources we have and we can't do Virtual Console. They don't want to do Virtual Console. It's a slightly different thing now. In terms of like actual execution on how N64 games run or whatever, yeah, I think a lot of times that does come down to them saying, hey, we're going to do this, but we're going to do it in a way that is affordable because we are Nintendo and that's how we do things. We're not going to spend a huge budget on things until we know that they're going to get us that sort of return. And so, yeah, but I think a lot of that stuff is just a business being careful, and it's pretty familiar if you look at other businesses and how they operate and not making really big bets. But at the same time, they are willing to delay games. Like Breath of the Wild got delayed so many times. It got delayed so they could basically reset how they were going to approach the entire game. And that's a company using its huge bankroll to say, hey, we can take the risk of spending even more money on this project to ensure we get it right. And so I think that's like the other side of this that you have to consider. That, yeah, sure, sometimes it looks like they half-ass things, but in certain cases, in the times when it really matters, it seems like they are willing to go all out, and it ends up leading to really great games. So I think it's just kind of Nintendo trying to be strategic, and sometimes that means kind of being cheap.
Nintendo Bro asked, is hard mode actually hard? If they talk about Metroid Dread, the only difference in hard mode, I think, is how much damage is dealt
right,
to
4
you.
times damage, yeah.
Right. So it basically just means you better have the boss fights down pretty well.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, I didn't have a
kill you.
I didn't have one boss fight down, and it was like the first time you come against the 2 Chozo soldiers at once, and that took me a few times. But now I could do that one first time each time because I understand exactly how to win that fight, and it's like once you have them down, it's kind of just as easy as normal mode. But normal mode is where you should go the first time to learn those patterns. It's not. Going on hard mode the first time would not make that game more fun. It's definitely something to make sure that when you go back to play it again, that you are being as perfect in those pattern recognition things as possible. But for a new player, just go play normal, and that's the most fun mode for them.
Can you even start on hard mode? I feel like that's something you only can unlock after you beat it once.
I thought you could, but maybe not. You might be right.
I can't remember now. Maybe chat will help us there. Benji Bob says, will you play Mario Party Superstars on Friday with me, since we know Jeff definitely won't? But seriously, are either of you excited for the release on Friday? I'm not playing a Switch game online. I'm not crazy.
I'm excited is the wrong word. Yeah. I hope it's good. I hope it's good, and I'll probably try it out.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'll play it. I'm interested. I'll tell you what, I forgot it was coming out this week until getting ready for this show. So I wasn't that excited, obviously.
Right.
But Benji Pop also asked, this question's for Jeff. Does Hollow Knight give you Mega Man X vibes? Asking for a friend. I'll tell you what, it would give more Mega Man X vibes than that game that looked exactly like Symphony of the Night, Time Spinner, or whatever it was. Yeah, Jeff, absolutely. I can't believe that you said that you literally 3 weeks ago or something.
I knew you were gonna bring that out against me too. I knew it as soon as I said it. I knew you were gonna
literally 3 weeks ago. We complained about somebody who was moaning
Metroid Dread
about.
Is so fun from the first minute.
Wait, I love the people complaining how Circle of the Moon is too slow because the first power up you get is a dash, but the 10 minutes is apparently insufferable to them. And what do you say about Hollow Knight? Oh, it feels slow after playing Metroid Dread.
Okay, here's the thing with Hollow Knight where it's slightly different for me. Hollow Knight has a lot of right away has a lot of people you go and talk to, or not a lot, but there are some doors that you can go in, and it feels like, should I be worried about this stuff right now, or should I just be going forward? And when it's time to go forward, it's a bit slow. It's about the Circle of Moon speed before you get to dash. And I'm like, okay, I guess now. But now that I realize I just need to go and find this first boss and get the first power up, I'm like, okay, I'm getting. And that's where I was. I was playing the game this morning, half asleep, before I took my kid to school, and I got to that first boss, and I'm like, okay, I finally found it. I died. I almost beat it the first time, but I didn't. And I'm like, okay, now that I know where that is, I'll just keep doing these boss runs and get that first power up, and then I'll see how I feel about the game. And I bet I'm gonna be like, okay, this is real addictive, like every Metroidvania game ever, and I will get into it at that point. But
you'll get into it.
Just that the first couple of minutes where it's I'm trying to figure out where I should go and whether or not where I should be spending my efforts. It was enough to push me away. But I definitely know people like it enough that I'm going to keep pushing through it.
I know what you're saying, but I still don't really understand what you're saying. But
it's just, especially coming off of Metroid Dread, which just felt so good in that first minute. It's
Metroid Dread cuts a great pace.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna play this game and I'm gonna die, and then I got sent back to the very beginning. Now I gotta slowly walk to where I was before, and I'm still lost. That's why I was bouncing off it. Now that I'm not, I'm fine, and I'll be fine.
You should buy get some of the map stuff are quote unquote upgrades you do have to buy with your resources.
So I did buy a map, and that helps. Quick. Right.
And you have to buy a marker for yourself too.
Yes, I just bought the compass. Literally, that's one of the last things I did before I finally found the boss. I'm I think I know where I'm on this map even without the compass, but I'm just gonna spend this money that I'm getting on this compass. And okay, now I can see exactly where that boss is and see where I am, and I'll go to it. Yeah, that's how I got to it, and it's I'm progressing, and it's fun, and I bet it's gonna be very good. I will say that God, this, it's just different perspectives, but I don't love the jump in the game.
It's such a good jump.
It's not a good jump. Okay, listen, it's fine.
I get it. You hate anything that is slightly floaty. You just associate it with badness. It's just different.
It's not. Okay, it's different, and it's not for me. I like a jump that feels like it has physics and momentum. This feels like it is someone taking a mouse cursor and making the character go up and down. And I don't enjoy that. It doesn't work. It reminds me of Pitfall and not Super Mario Brothers. And I'm like, Super Mario Brothers is better than Pitfall within the way I play stuff. But I can also tell that the way the character's going to progress, and like I'm sure I'm going to get mobility options that are going to make me forget about the jump, but just right now it's doing small things to push me away. That's all. I think it's going to be a great game. I think I'm going to get into it, Mike, and I'll stop talking about the nitpicks probably very soon.
You have to at least give me this, that it has maybe the best like sword attack in a 2D action game. The sword feels so good.
It feels very, very good. I wish it was a little bit longer, but also I'm like, that's the way this game is, and like you have to like that's part of the difficulty, and I'm totally okay.
There are ways to make it longer.
Yes, I can tell that, right? Cool, wonderful. All right, move on.
Oh, by the way, so you unlock hard mode in Metroid Dread, so like, which is smart, because again, nobody should just start with that.
Right.
Yes, again, some other people were there for that. All right. Last question here for now. Nintendo Bro, is in the games journalist category, I'm winning, the most underwhelming thing you've ever said. Wow.
I mean, listen, we know what it is. We know what we're saying when we say that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, anytime you're the best games journalist, it's you definitely are admitting some failures.
It's something.
Yeah, it is a something, that's for sure.
It's important to let Gene Park know that I'm better than him, right?
That's true.
We gotta get there. Yeah. We had a couple more I just saw in our Discord. So questions. Let's get to these. Nintendo Bro asks, what exactly type of vibe is the Pokemon company going for with Pokemon Legends Arceus? Arcanines killing people, Pokemon that exit their souls were reborn after they were rejected by mankind and died. Is this supposed to be spooky Pokemon or what? I think it literally is just like chasing a little bit of that Breath of the Wild vibe, which is like ever so slightly more mature than, say, a Pokemon game. So, there's more violence, which is strange because in Pokemon there's like no violence, right? People faint. The bad guys, like when they lose a like sanctioned Pokemon battle with a kid, run away instead of just like beating him up and then taking over the world like they want to. So like that stuff will always seem a little jarring, even when it just slightly goes a little further to one end. Low Rule Legend asks, what is the most overrated Nintendo franchise? Wow. I'm surprised I haven't been asked this yet. Most overrated Nintendo franchise.
I think I'll say, even though it's one of my favorite franchises, I think I'll probably say Zelda. I think because I think if you were to like, Breath of the Wild now really kind of helps with that argument of saying it's properly rated, because I think you could send most people now to Breath of the Wild and say, this is a Zelda game, go play it, and I bet you're gonna think it's great, and most people will be like, wow, this is great, I got super into it, it's one of the best games I've ever played. But before that, I think before 2017, like in 2016, you like send someone to a Zelda game, be like, this is one of the best franchises ever. I think there's a good chance that people be like, I think games have moved on from this. And like people's taste will have like sort of advanced beyond that, even though I would still very much love those games. And I guess even saying that, I'm like thinking of examples to counter that with like Link Between Worlds for the 3DS, where I think you could send anybody to that game and they'll fall in love with it. But I know, I think in general, overall, I think the Zelda franchise might be a little overrated, even though personally it's rated properly for me.
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say, but I don't necessarily agree.
That's fine.
Yeah, I think I'd say Mario Kart, just because I like Mario Kart fine. I am shocked how it's like often the best-selling or one of the best-selling games on every Nintendo system. I'm surprised it's as popular as it is a little bit.
People are saying Pokemon in chat, especially if you didn't have an attachment to it as a kid, and that's probably a good point. That's closer to what I was even trying to say, I think. So yeah.
Yeah, there's someone said Fire Emblem. There's a lot of things you can say. You can't say Metroid. Like there's some that are clearly underrated, really, yes. Right? Like how could you possibly say Metroid or F-Zero? How could F-Zero be overrated?
Right. Yeah, I think Animal Crossing maybe for some people, like
especially now, maybe.
Yeah, right, exactly. That's what I mean. Like right now, after New Leaf, no, that's not Leaf, whatever. New Horizons. I think the people are like, wow, this seems like it must be the best game ever made. 30 million copies sold. Everyone's playing this. Celebrities are playing this and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then they go like, oh, I'm just doing chores. What is this thing? And, yeah. So yeah.
All right.
Do you have more questions? 'Cause I have like one super chat here that I can touch
Yeah,
on.
no, you can go to the super chats now before we get over to our topic.
So thank you, TechCube, for sending in that super chat without a message. And then Jared Helder said, "Would a used copy of GTA include the download?" It's not how it works. No, the card is not like rewritable. Like it's just gonna have the data on it that it has, and then any extra data that you would download would go onto your system or onto an SD card separately. So yeah, that's not how it would work. No.
All right, Jeff, are you ready to talk about your favorite Metroid game?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, Jeff. Well then, what is your favorite Metroid game?
Damn it. So
I'm gonna have you go first because this is actually maybe the hardest one we've done for me. This is tough.
This
I
is
don't know
hard.
my answer.
I think it might be recency bias, but I also think it might, in the long run, turn out to be true in the same way that, you know, the game we keep going to, or at least I keep going to as like the prime example of what this is, Prime. The prime example of like of how I feel about this game is A Link Between Worlds. And Link Between Worlds, I feel like I can go back to for the rest of my life and play forever. And so right now it probably is Metroid Dread, but it might it's still part of me is like Metroid Prime is one of the best games I've ever played, and I played it earlier this year and it still holds up. It's still awesome. I still love it. But I think the game going forward, that of all the Metroid games I'm going to want to play the most and be the most attached to, and kind of and that delivers on everything I want from a Metroid game for the most part, is Metroid Dread. I do think that I might even prefer the way that Prime does its exploration, where it says, hey, here, there's something happening over in this part of the world. Now go find your way over there. And Dread is like, we're not going to tell you where something's happening, but we're going to shut off maybe parts of the world so that you kind of end up going where you need to go.
There, but
we're going to funnel you a little bit in a way that is maybe at first it seems like we're not, but it's a little bit more transparently that we're funneling you, and so I think I'm like in that side, it's like that's really key to me for a Metroid game, and I like the way Prime does it a little bit better. But I just think the way Dread controls and looks, and the way the character emotes, and except for the music,
that is a bummer. That is a bummer because Metroid Prime's music is fantastic.
So good. It's so good. So it's like it's a toss up for me a little bit, and I'm glad both games exist, and I'm gonna keep going back to both of them, but I'm gonna go with Dread right now.
I think we both have the same top three. I think that's easy to say, right?
Yeah.
And I like Super Metroid more than you do, and so like for me, Super Metroid's top, and then it was Metroid Prime,
right?
And now I'm trying to figure out where Dread fits in. And obviously, I played through it 4 times in a row, basically, which again, I don't normally do that. So there must be something there. But it's so hard because there's so much baggage with Metroid Prime and Super Metroid about how I feel about those games and loving them for so long. Like Super Metroid, especially, like I still have not had very many games, if any, that have captured that feeling of that final act and just how incredibly intense and exciting that was, especially for that time. It was just so interesting and so fun. So it's hard to say. I think I like Dread more than Prime, at least right now. And again, recency bias, maybe. But I'll tell you what, Dread just controls so well. And that's really what it is. The controls are just absolutely perfect in that. It's like the best playing 2D game maybe I've ever played. I can't believe how fluid it all works out, how nice. Like that's one of the reasons why I kept playing. Is like I just want to keep controlling Samus in this game.
Yep,
I do, and I wonder if like now that I go back to Super Metroid, if that's going to bother me,
right?
Like the bit more of that rigid. It might a little bit, but God, Super Metroid still like everything about that game holds up so well. Aside from maybe some of that small stuff, even like I know that its wall jump is like hard to do, but I kind of like that about it. It's almost like a secret ability.
It's a secret ability, yes,
right. And it does have more opportunities where it's so Metroid Dread makes the critical path pretty straightforward, and I certainly understand why they did that. I mean, look how many people still think that it can be kind of confusing, you can get lost. So I understand the need or the want to do that, but I do kind of miss some of those moments that you do get a little bit more of a Super Metroid, where it's like the thing you need to do is somewhere in the world. I don't know where. Good luck, go and find it, and maybe you're going to find 20 other things first before you actually find the next step. And I sort of like that. And I think like Metroid Dread, with trying to beat as fast as I can, there's part of me that's worried, like, oh, am I going to be okay, like not getting as many items and stuff? And I was completely okay. Like to a certain point, getting all the other stuff, you are just getting it for the sake of getting it, and that's true to a lot of the Metroid games. But there's a bit of me that's like, man, they put a lot of the e-tanks just on the critical path. Like you get like 7 of them, just basically playing it straightforward. So again, these are so nitpicky. I'm just trying to find excuses to say why Metroid Dread isn't my favorite one, even though I'm kind of playing it like it is. I think I'm going to be a coward and still say Super Metroid for now. And it is cowardice.
I think it's okay. I mean, no, I know I know that feeling where it's like, it's one thing's been your favorite for decades.
Yeah,
and now you're faced with like knocking it down. It almost feels disloyal. Like I'm that way. I'm so that way. But like I'm trying to like think it through and be like, no, it's still great that I love those games and I love Metroid Prime. But it's like it's maybe it's even more awesome that they made a game that might unseat it. That's incredible. Like it's so incredible that someone could come along and do that.
I tell you, I wasn't expecting it. As excited as I was for Metroid Dread, I didn't think I would like it this much.
Yep,
so it was a really cool surprise. So, yeah, so like, I really wish I could just say, oh, the top 3 are Super Metroid, Metroid Prime, Metroid Dread, whatever order you want. But I will pick one, and I will pick Super Metroid for now. But man, it's very good stuff. I tell you what, when Metroid games are done well, there's very few things that are better than it. That's for sure. All right, so let's read what our community thought about this one. If you guys want to say what you thought in a super chat, you can send that in, and we will read it in a bit. Wildfire Alex says, it's Super Metroid because of obvious reasons. I mean, really, don't even have to make a long paragraph for it. Fair enough. Benji Bob says, like my Zelda answer, I'm starting to sense a pattern here. Metroid Prime Pinball is my favorite Metroid game because it's the only one I ever played. Metroid Prime Pinball is very good. In terms of like the pinball games, I feel like it doesn't get as enough love.
Yeah, and we should maybe do best video game pinball spinoffs or something like that at some point. Like maybe many weeks from now, or maybe we could do it on GameSpeak Decides. But yeah, or maybe the best Nintendo pinball games. There's a lot of them.
I even like Sonic Spinball, which is like awkward and has a bad frame rate and has like that Genesis fart music that people don't
Some
like.
of them have like really bad physics and feel bad, and yet I still kind of like them. Like,
I still kind of like it. Kirby Pinball, though, that's a masterpiece. That's good stuff. Pinball Junior, how about that? Isn't that hilarious? Pinball Junior says the original Metroid for NES is my favorite, probably because I played it more than the others. It's interesting how close it is to being Super Metroid. They probably would have made something closer given better technology. Also, the soundtrack is great, slightly less moody than later games. So yeah, Metroid 1 soundtrack can be surprisingly melodic at times. I finally played through Metroid 1 for the first time just within the past year, and I had a lot of fun. You know, you need to do it with a guide, which I think was true even back then, right? A lot of kids had their Nintendo Power or whatever, because you don't have a map and all this stuff and get lost. But it still holds up. It's still really fun. Again, ultimately, you'd rather play Zero Mission or Super Metroid, right? But I could totally understand. Like if that was the one I played as a kid a lot, I'd probably still have like this intense attachment to it. That even sounded dismissive, like oh, it's only good if you played it back then. That's not really what I mean, but that's what would elevate it into being my favorite, is what I mean. Hey, it's Edge Guy. Edge Guy says, "Is it Dread? I think it's Dread. I just played a good chunk of Super Metroid while my son and I were both homesick, so it's fresh in my mind. While it's still an amazing game that came from 1994 and still holds up so well, Dread really does improve on it in every way. Not every way. The music's not as good, but I do know what you mean.
Yes, I do. I know too.
It's close. It's close that I even consider it, because I never thought that I would say this 2D Metroid game is better than Super Metroid, because I have put Super Metroid on a ridiculous pedestal.
Yeah, but I will say, like, as high of a pedestal that we put like Super Metroid on, or even Metroid Prime, no one who's a Metroid fan is coming to Dread and being like, this isn't that good. Metroid fans all love it. It's the only people really criticizing Metroid Dread are people who are like, maybe never played that many Metroids, maybe played a couple of them, but have played like Hollow Knight and really enjoy what that does instead. But Metroid fans all seem to universally love Dread, and even that's like rare for a lot of franchises.
That's like even like Breath of the Wild, like a lot of people who don't like it are some like the really hardcore Zelda fans, although they don't like the differences and stuff.
Although Anthony John Agnello came around on that eventually. Did you remember that? Like
I remember. He was one of the loudest ones.
Yep.
Now there you go.
I know it. I knew it.
Turbo Sean says, picking my favorite Metroid game in a post-Dread world is tough. I've always said it's Zero Mission, but Dread is arguably a better game in almost every respect. To avoid recency bias, that's the phrase of the day apparently, I'm defaulting to Metroid Prime for now. It's remarkable how the gameplay, sound design, and even the damn 2002 graphics hold up to this day. Like you guys have said before, that model of Samus still looks fantastic. Whenever I'm doing Orca-related crimes on my PC, I'm always impressed how just bumping the resolution to 1080p or even full 4K makes it seem like a relatively modern game. Can't wait to see what a true HD coat of paint could do for it. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to play Prime again as soon as they release that remaster or whatever they're going to do, hopefully, because Prime could easily be my answer on a different day. That was a really special game, especially when that came out, and it's incredible how much it holds up.
Yeah, the line I always say, and I'm sure I've said it on this show 5 times before, is it's the best game from 5 years in the future. It was that was Mark McDonald's review in EGM, and I'm like, yeah, that was true then. It still kind of feels like true now, where you go back and play it, like, I can't believe this was 2002.
It's insane. 2002. Napper says Super Metroid is the best, but my favorite is Metroid Fusion. I finally played through it last year and ended up enjoying it more than I expected. It can feel linear at times, but the pacing is good, and the encounters with SAX are terrifying for a Game Boy Advance game. Yeah, Fusion is that's one I also would like to play again very badly, but I kind of want to be a snob about it and wait for some kind of way to play it on the Switch, which who knows how long that's going to be. It's kind of upsetting that I just can't play that in Zero Mission right now, but so be it. Giggy says, even after Dread, I gotta give my favorite Metroid vote to Fusion. I love the setup with Samus essentially dying and being reborn, to the incredible pacing that keeps you on your toes, like the moment getting stuck in the elevator. The SAX adds this very creepy tension at certain moments, similar to the Emmy, but I feel the X hit a bit harder on the psyche as they mimic Samus. For me personally, the guided path of Fusion never bugged me, as the moment-to-moment beats are the series' best, and I hope more people visit it after Dread. I thought that Fusion would kind of be like the not offbeat answer, but you kind of know what I mean. It would be It's like that's like the people who like Majora's Mask, right? It's right. Kind of like that point for this series.
I agree.
There's a lot of the next one here. Nintendo Bro says my favorite Metroid is Fusion. I had never played a Metroid before Fusion, and I only knew who Samus was from Smash Brothers and a pack-in Game Boy game guide that came with the Super Game Boy SNES bundle. I was at Sam's Club with my parents as a 10-year-old. Man, that's a vibe. And I saw the box and thought it looked cool. Christmas wish list that year. I was hooked. I love the suspenseful atmosphere the game portrays through its environmental storytelling, anxiety-inducing soundtrack, and the dreaded SAX. The bosses also fit the aesthetic very well. Hello, Nightmare and Gato. Having never played a Metroidvania before Fusion, I wasn't bothered by the linearity either. I love speedrunning the game also, and I was so proud to hit the sub 2-hour mark. I know you both are very adept on advancing the series forward. While I agree, I would love to see Fusion get the Dread treatment just to make it that much better. Also, Zero Mission making you unlock the ability to grab a ledge can go kick rocks. That is kind of funny, isn't it? Mr. Hot Take says Metroid Prime is the only good Metroid. Well, I'll tell you what, he had an appropriate name. I'll tell you what, Mr. Hot Take.
I mean, in terms of like, listen, I disagree with you, but it's like I like one of the best games of all time, and that's the only good one. I'm like, all right, fine.
Charles says Dread has been my first Metroid. I am about halfway through and enjoying much more than I expected. That's good. Hopefully you go back to some of the other ones after that and see what you think. Canuble says Super Metroid. The atmosphere is so intense, and the killer soundtrack is aged so good. I like World still feels fresh, and every boss fight is a unique experience. The world still feels fresh. Gotcha. Aaron Tonta says, might be recency bias, but my favorite Metroid is Metroid Dread. The game just looks and plays perfectly, and I loved almost every moment of it outside of one specific boss who just felt kind of pointless. I wonder which one he means now. I wonder which one he means. I wonder if it's one of the ones that you fight multiple times, or if it's that. I wonder if it's that bug that kind of flies around a bit. That's kind of a weirder boss
People don't
fight.
like the one where they have the Flappy Bird attack where you have to like do the space jump to get through the projectiles. I think people don't like that one, but maybe not. He said pointless, so I don't know. I don't know if that's what he means.
I think you might be right there. Although I watched a speedrun last night after I did my thing, and like we're talking about the same one, the screw attack destroys that thing. Although I think he cheated to get early screw attack, but he was just chewing through that guy. Not cheated, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Canupo also asked us a question. I put it in the wrong section there. What did you guys eat in Nintendo jail? What did we eat in Nintendo jail?
Nintendo cereal system.
Yeah, that was not newer. They didn't make any new ones, so
Right,
it's pretty
yeah,
rough.
old stale Nintendo serial system. Yeah.
Yeah. Donovan says it won't be the most popular answer, but Metroid 2 on Game Boy is the first game in the series I played through to completion multiple times. My sentimental favorite that I still come back to from time to time. So a little love for Metroid 2 there. I didn't think it was going to get much. But yeah, that all seemed about right. I would have thought there would have been somebody who said Zero Mission. I saw a lot of people kind of saying much like Zero Mission on like Twitter and Reddit in the lead up, excuse me, to Dread coming out.
Yeah.
But also no love for the other Prime games, which again, like there are people who like them, but I don't think there are many people who are going to be like, actually, Metroid Prime 3 is the best
Right.
one.
If you like Metroid Prime 3 or 2, you like Metroid Prime 1 better, almost certainly.
Mm-hmm. Because it is better.
It is,
All
yeah.
right, that's it. Jeff, did we get any super chats related to this?
Let me take a look.
Just more super chats in general?
Let's see here. We got J Stud McLovin, Retro Snob in me says super, but my heart says Prime. And yeah, I totally get that. It's kind of, I mean, I'm very similar. And then J Stud McLovin came in with another one saying, even Metroid Pinball is surprisingly fun.
What I love about Metroid, it's very much Metroid. It's like it's the most Metroid Prime feeling game of all the Metroid Prime games to me in some way. Like it almost nails that because it's such a condensed like form of that Metroid Prime aesthetic that it gives me a really good jolt of it. I love it.
Any love for any of the other Metroid games? Metroid. What's the one, the most recent one on the 3DS that they did?
Yeah, I was about to say, Samus Returns didn't exactly get... Well, look, Metroid Dread is just a better version of Samus Returns in every way, right? Like, we're talking about how Metroid Dread's kind of like a better version of Super Metroid. And you can maybe, like, argue there's, like, things about Super Metroid, like its world design or its music or whatnot. When it comes to, like, Samus Returns, everything's just better. Like, Samus Returns wasn't bad. I liked Samus Returns. It was the first one to introduce the radio aiming and the counter system, and I thought those were interesting. And now we see those kind of executed better in a more interesting, varied world with kind of better suited power ups and stuff like that. What's the kid talking about?
She's trying to solve this puzzle level in her game. Here, I'll show everybody. It's a it's a physics game, and like you draw the lines, but the lines draw, and she's trying to get the ball in there. So I'm creating like a barrier, and I'm gonna try to knock the ball over there, and then. I think we got it, Emmy. I think we got it. We did it. Yay!
Wow.
There you go.
Pretty good for a game
happy.
journalist.
She's so happy. Yeah, pretty good for a game journalist. What about like Metroid Prime Hunters on the DS?
No. I appreciated it. I thought it was I liked the demo cart more just because that's about as much of that game as I really needed to play. Was just that kind of concept of it. But it was hard to play that game the way they wanted you to play it with like the stylus and using the D-pad.
I got over that and enjoyed some of it back then, but I'll help you when I'm done with my show, kiddo. I'll help you in a bit. Go sit down. But like I would not go back and like try to play it now, even if I'm curious, because I just don't want to destroy my hands.
Jeff, what about Federation Force? Part of me is like, we should play Federation Force sometime.
Yeah, we should. We should actually. I never really gave it a chance after that demo at E3.
Right, yeah, we played it there, and we were just like, okay, what is this? And like, I think a lot of people were just almost insulted at the idea of it. Like, it's been so long since we got a Metroid game, and this is what you're giving us. Like, for the love of God, just give us a new 2D Metroid is what everybody wanted at that time. We finally call it. A lot of people are talking about another Metroid.
Yes, I was gonna bring it up.
Remake.
Did you ever play this?
No. It's something again, maybe when I get the Steam Deck, I'll put it on that. But something I do want to play.
It came pre-installed on my Retroid Pocket 2 when I got it from China, and I'm like, it runs natively on that. It just runs natively as an Android game on there, and that was great. I played through most of it there, but while it looks great and plays great, it's like it's like Zero Mission, but for that game. It's still Metroid 2, and Metroid 2 is pretty rote. Like, you're doing a lot of the same stuff over, and the environments look pretty similar. And Samus Returns all suffered from the same thing. And I think I probably do like it a little bit better than Samus Returns. But even then, I'm like, I didn't feel the need to finish it, to complete it. So I'm glad I played a lot of it. I played it for many hours, but I didn't get to the end, and I probably never will.
Jeff, that is certainly fair enough. Well, then. That's that. I feel like this is the point now where we kind come up with a topic discussion for next week, which is something I probably should have thought about earlier. Jeff, what should we talk about next time? Should we ask people what their favorite controller is now that this Nintendo 64
I was
thing's
literally
out?
going to say, I was literally going to say favorite Nintendo controller, and
There you go.
we could just, why don't we break that out into favorite Nintendo peripheral, like controller or like the Super Scope or something like that.
No, I disagree. I just want controller.
Okay,
I
no,
just
cool.
want
That's fine.
controller.
All right. No, I'm glad we solidified that then. All right, so just controller. That'll be fun because I like them all. I really have never had any
I like them
complaints
all,
about
but
any.
there's
Nintendo
one in
controller.
mind that I think I like the best pretty easily.
I know,
So
obviously.
you know what it is, probably.
Yeah, I know. All right, cool. That'll be cool. Should we talk about any games or anything?
I mean, it's been Metroid Dread. And like I said, I played a bit of Mario 64 just to test out. Like, I mean, I bought this damn thing. I was like, I guess I better play a Nintendo 64 game now, right? So I did a little bit of that, but I don't even know what Nintendo 64 game I never played Sin and Punishment, so I'll try that. I'm sure I'll play a bit of Star Fox 64. I like that game a lot, but I'm not going to play through Ocarina of Time on this thing. Really, that's not how I really want to play that game right now. So. I don't know. I mean, have you been playing anything else?
I've been playing this game for my kid.
Yeah, apparently.
Not really. I mean, I'm like, Hollow Knight is the one I'm like, I started that this morning in earnest again, and then this week I've been playing. Oh, you know what? Guardians of the Galaxy. That's playable on the Switch with the cloud version, right? So I could talk about that a little bit. That's a pretty good game, Mike. I was surprised. I had zero good expectations for it. Even after that preview, which I kind of was like, that's fine. I was like, that's the vertical slice, and I bet the rest of the game is just that over and over again. And I'll say the final product surprised me because it's pretty varied. Like, it keeps a pretty good pace of, you're going to be in combat for a little bit, you're going to be exploring for a little bit, and the exploration is sort of, all these things are sort of like okay to dull, like they're in that zone. But spending time with the characters, I thought, was pretty good. Like, now, the banter when you're in combat or exploring isn't good. But when you are in any cutscene, or when you get a moment where they are arguing and having discussions with one another, and like everyone has their own perspective, all that stuff is expressed really well. And you feel like, as playing Star-Lord, you feel like you have a relationship with this team, and you're making choices, and you feel like those choices matter, and they affect the story, and they affect the other characters, and therefore they affect you. And all that stuff works really well. Nothing is like great, but when it all comes together, and as you're moving through the story, and like you're going from these combat scenes to maybe like a flashback scene to when Peter was a kid with his mom and stuff like that in the house, and it gives you a little bit more story. It just kind of keeps you on your toes and keeps you engaged. And I've been enjoying it. Like, I think it's a very, very solid 3 out of 5 to me so far. I haven't finished it, but like that's where I'm at right now. Where I'm like,
so as bad as Returnal,
right? Exactly. And I'm like, I like this game. Period. I am enjoying myself, and I think that most people that are fans of the movies will go through this sort of this chart where they start off and they're like, they feel a little bit repelled by the way the characters look.
Sure.
You get over that a little bit, and then you'll be like, oh, they're also trying to like do the voices, and they're trying to make the same references, where Peter Quill has a tape deck that plays old music, and Rocket Raccoon has a similar New York accent and all that stuff, and I think that continues to push you away a little bit. But very quickly you're like, okay, I get it. They're trying their best, and when they deliver on the promise of the Guardians of the Galaxy sort of premise, this ragtag group that is just like trying to take on jobs and is always underwater and is trying to come from behind to just get a break here or there, all that stuff is really good. I do think it's probably pretty close in terms of a quality story to the Spider-Man story from the 2018 game. I think overall, it's like, if you come to it expecting a Guardians of the Galaxy story, it's going to deliver that, and I was pretty happy, or I continue to be pretty happy with it. Like I said, I haven't finished it, so I have no idea how it feels on the Switch with the cloud version. I bet if you've played a cloud game before on the Switch and it worked fine, I bet this one's going to work fine too. And you don't need the super twitchy response. So if there's like a slight delay or a slight lag, something that you could get used to as a player, you'll be fine. And there's actually a lot of accessibility options to like make the game easier in very specific ways. And so like even if like you need to like do something like that, where like you lock onto something and you go into special mode and like slows the game down from like 100% to 80%. Like, you could do that to make the game a little bit easier for you, and you're not going to be like cheating yourself, because the game, while the combat is like Final Fantasy VII Remake Light, and that's cool, that is not like the most rewarding stuff. It's not what you're coming to this game for.
Sure.
You are coming there to spend time with the characters, and in the end, it delivered on that. I'm impressed. I'm like very impressed by what they did.
Yeah,
here.
the fact that you're kind of into it, like I wasn't really looking forward to this or anything, but the fact that you are like kind of coming away a little surprised has me slightly interested in it now.
I think it's the kind of game that where people are probably going to pick it up on sale sometime later this holiday or early next year, and I bet it's going to continue to get buzz where like, hey, I'm playing this, I'm like really enjoying it. And you know, I think if you get it for like $40, that's kind of like that's the right price, I think, for most people. But I think even if like you're a huge Guardians fan, you go in there and you're gonna ready to pay full price and want to play it right away, I think that's the right audience for this. And I think that's impressive that the people who are going to enjoy this the most are the people who like this property, and that's great. That's like they delivered on the promise, and that's really well done.
Here's one question: do you think it would have been better if it was just straight up, this is from the MCU, and we got those voice actors and we based the models on them?
Yes, I still think it would be better if they did that. Yes, I mean that's what they're trying to do, and so trying to do that and not having the ability to fully go all the way inherently makes the game slightly worse. They overcome that obstacle, but they have to overcome it, and I would prefer if they didn't even have to do that. They want to do that, so they should just have done it. But you know, it's because it's not like Marvel Spider-Man where this is clearly just a new take on the character that has no relationship to the movies or the ongoing comic right now. It is like one of the, you know, the 50 reboots of this character we've had before. It's just one of those. This just feels like trying to do the movie without being the movie. And
would it be something that they did like, we're going for like what the comics did, whatever that was,
right? Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Forget the tape deck, forget all that.
Right.
Like that would be something.
And you know, the music is pretty decent. Like, you know, they are obviously using it's not as good as the movies. The movies, when a track comes up, it feels like it's fully expressing the intent of the character and the director and the writer, and it just feels very powerful because you could feel all of those synergies working together. Here it's just like, oh, it's a cool pop song happening while I fight some bad guys, and for the most part, there's, you know, it's going to depend on how much you like that music, but like, and they're not spending as much money. They're going out and they're getting Rick Astley and like that. I'm sure that like the meme song, whatever it is, Never Gonna Give You Up, and I'm like, it's probably not too expensive compared to like what they go and get the movie, but the overall effect is good enough, and it does. I'm glad that they tried to do that part of it, like, because that's fun. It's gonna be a nightmare for streaming, but whatever. It's still fun to play. So yeah, most of the time that works for me.
All right, cool. Hey, we got one more super chat in. Do you want to read that before we start wrapping up here?
Jared Helder with our last super chat here says, Prime is still in my top 10 of all time, but I think Metroid works better as a 2D game, and Dread's gameplay did for 2D games what Prime did for the first-person shooter. Yeah, fair enough. Thank you for all the super chats, everybody. Thank you for sending all those questions this week. That was great.
Yeah, it was a fun time. And next week we'll be talking about our favorite Nintendo controller. So think on that a bit. You'll have a week.
Does the Sega Genesis and Nintendo Switch Online controller count?
No.
Okay.
We'll say that doesn't count. I mean, look, if in your heart you feel like you must answer that way, I'm not going to stop you. You can say what you want, but I will judge you. I will judge you harshly. Jeff, we're close to Halloween. It's coming up soon. I don't think I have a costume to put on for Games Beat the Side, sadly. That's a shame. Maybe I should think of something, because
I'll just use my Jedi robe that's hanging up over there.
There you go. I still have my Black Mage outfit in the closet, but I did that last year. Yeah, man, it's been over a year since, like, we've been doing a show for a while, but it's been over a year now since like the show really picked up, because I remember it was when I was doing episodes in my kitchen for whatever, because I didn't have my webcam anymore, so I had to use my Surface.
Was that we've only done like 17 episodes of Nintendogs, right? So
I'm talking about, what do I say, the podcast? I mean, like, when I mean like game,
the podcast
network. Yeah,
yes, the Game Mess Network. Yes,
the Game Mess podcast. I think I would call it the Game
right
Mess
now.
Network and not the Games Beat Network. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yep,
you do know what I mean.
I do know what you mean.
Yeah, Jeff, is music playing me off right now? I can't hear it.
No, it will be right now.
We need to get out of here.
Sorry,
stop trying to help your kid.
I have to help my kid. I'm like, I gotta keep doing the same level over and over for some reason.
Man, my stomach is just growling like crazy. I don't know if people can hear it, but apparently I need to eat.
Let's get Mikey fed. Mike, where can we find you?
You can find me at Subway in about 10 minutes. But aside from that, you can find me on Twitter at Tokoto, Tolkoto, and check out 90s Disney, my 90s Disney podcast at 90sdisney.com. Engagement Decides is on Friday.
I'm Jeff Grubb. Sorry,
You
I
asshole.
almost got it. I just got to get it in the hole.
Oh my God.
All right, Emmy, I'm finishing up right now, and then I'll go take over. All right, I'm Jeff Grubb on Twitter. Find me there. Find me in Hollow Knight. If anyone wants to play some online, find me. N64 games or even Genesis games this weekend. Maybe we could do that. That'll be fun.
Maybe me and you could play Streets of Rage 2, you jerk. I don't
Yes,
know.
let's play Streets of Rage 2. All right, everybody, bye.
Yeah, we won't.